and welcome back to the mat. My name is Tatiana. For those of you new here, welcome. For those of you who've practiced with me before, welcome back. Today we will be flowing through a melt into peace yoga class. So a lot of deep stretches with a bit of movement to bring some energy into the body. And with that, I'd say, let's get started. Beginning today's class on our belly. So lying down, pressing the belly into the earth. The feet are about hip-width distance apart and forming a pillow with the hands. So the left palm stacks on top of the left and then resting the forehead on your little pillow. Taking the next few moments to arrive in your practice. Letting the hips relax. All the tension in the muscle relaxes. Feeling the breath travel through the body and the aliveness throughout all of the cells. Taking a note of the sensation of the belly and the thighs, the chest against the earth. You might be able to sense the gentle beating of your heart and your chest. The rise and fall of the belly as you inhale and exhale. And the theme for today's class is inner peace, and one little piece of wisdom that we can embody in our physical body to experience this inner peace is to let softness overcome the hard. So the qualities we are going to be working with today are fluid, liquid, soft, and flexible. And from here, stretching the left arm over to the left side, so the palm is facing down, placing the right palm next to the right shoulder, resting on the right cheek. And we'll be going into quite a deep shoulder stretch. So see what feels good in your body and only take it as far as you like. You can roll onto the left hip with the feet stacked, or bringing the right foot behind the left, forming a little kickstand, and resting the left cheek on the mat, gazing over to the right side. So this is quite a strong stretch for the left shoulder. Remembering in these strong asanas to send our breath throughout the body and find that fluid, relaxed, and yielding quality. Here for one deep breath, and exhale, rolling back onto the belly, placing the palms next to the shoulders, and stretching the right arm to the right side, rolling onto the right hip, stacking the feet, or maybe bringing the top leg over and behind, forming a kickstand, resting the right cheek on the mat, using the left palm next to the body for support, and rolling into this deep shoulder stretch. Notice the sensation throughout the body. Maybe giving yourself a smile if this is a challenging pose for you. Taking another deep breath in here. And exhale, slowly unwinding, finding your way back onto your belly, placing the hands underneath the shoulders, and perhaps gently rocking the hips from side to side to release any tension, resting the forehead on the mat. And then from here, sliding the forearms forward and parallel to one another. So the palms are facing down, elbows are underneath the shoulders, and finding into Sphinx pose, a gentle back bend. So gazing forward, think about opening up the front of the chest. So a nice straight line from the top of the shoulder to the other shoulder, gently engaging the core muscles and pressing the pelvis into the mat. Reaching the crown towards the ceiling, sending the breath to the small of the back. And exhale, release, bringing the chest down, resting the forehead on the mat and gently rocking the hips from side to side again to find release, that fluid motion. And then pressing into the palms, coming through all fours tabletop, walking the hands towards the top edge of the mat, so they're about mat width distance apart, and then melting the upper body towards the earth into melting heart or puppy pose. So the hips are above the knees, resting the forehead on the mat if this is available, feeling that stretch across the backs of the shoulders, the lower back, maybe feeling it in other parts of the body, just noting. Also the option to rest the chin on the mat if you'd like a bit more of a challenge. Remembering to breathe, so you're melting the upper body, that soft sensation, overcoming any hardness you might still be holding onto in the body. And then inhale, walking the hands back towards the body, coming through all fours tabletop. So setting yourself up with the palms underneath the shoulders, the knees underneath the hips, finding a nice straight spine. And then stretching the left toes behind, flexing the toes towards the mat, finding a straight line, the core muscles are activated, and finding your balance, perhaps lifting the right hand and finding a nice long line from the right fingertips all the way to the left toes, finding a stable base, finding length, and exhale, drawing right elbow underneath the body to touch the left knee. Inhale to lengthen, exhale, drawing knee to elbow. Inhale, right arm forward, left foot back, and exhale, drawing elbow to knee. Inhale, stretch it out, long, and exhale, bringing the right hand to the mat and finding your twisted pose. So the left foot comes to the outside of the long edge of the right mat, gazing over your right shoulder to your right hip and feeling that stretch across the left hip. You're finding a bit of stability across the palms, which are rooted in the earth, and the right knee, and using the tucked left toes to intensify the stretch. Exhale, release, coming back through tabletop and switching over to the other side. So stretching the right foot behind you, toes facing down, finding your stable base. And if it's within your practice, lifting the left arm up, palm facing down. So finding that nice long straight line, left fingertips reach forward, right feet reach back. Inhale to lengthen. And exhale, left arm draws underneath the body, right knee touches. Inhale to lengthen, straighten, and exhale, knee to elbow underneath the body. Inhale, lengthen, find that stable base, and exhale, draw underneath the body. Inhale, last lengthen, find as long as you possibly can. And then exhale, lowering the left hand back down to the mat and stretching the right toe over to the long edge of the left mat. So the right leg comes over and across the back. So gazing over the left shoulder, looking towards the right toe. You're rooting evenly through both hands. Here for one more breath. And exhale, release, coming back through tabletop position, patting the backs of the feet against the mat to release any tension. And then activating the core muscles, rooting through the hands, spreading all 10 fingers, and tucking the back toes, hovering the knees a few inches up off the mat, activating the glutes, and exhale, press the hips up and back, downward facing dog, pedaling out the legs, shaking the head yes and no. You can bend into one knee, straightening the other leg, and alternating, waking up the backs of the legs and the spine in your downward facing dog. Breathing in and exhale. Soften the belly, chest draws towards the back of the mat. And then for our twisted down dog, feel free to stay in down dog if this is enough of a challenge for you today. It's all about listening to our body. But if you'd like to come into twisted down dog, shift the weight into the left palm, hover the right a few inches off the mat just to see if you have the balance, and then stretching the right arm underneath the body, holding onto the left thigh, knee, calf, ankle, wherever you can reach, gazing underneath the left armpit towards the back of the mat, feeling that twist across the lower belly and back, and exhale, finding back into downward facing dog, rooting through the right hand, again checking your balance, lifting the left hand, and then exhale, left arm draws underneath the body, holding onto the right thigh, calf, ankle, twisting over towards the right side, gazing towards the right thigh underneath the right armpit. Finding that A shape with your body. And exhale, gently untwisting, finding back through into downward facing dog. And inhale, rippling yourself forward like a wave into high plank position. So pressing out from the shoulders, tucking the back toes. We have one breath, and then keeping the elbows tucked, lowering yourself down towards the earth. Inhale, upward facing dog. So coming onto the backs of the feet, chest shines forward, tucking the toes and pressing the hips up and back, downward facing dog, rooting through all 10 fingers, all 10 toes. The neck is relaxed. Heels draw towards the mat. And inhale, lifting the right leg up towards the sky, keeping the hips squared. And exhale, stepping the right foot forward between the hands, squaring off the feet, dropping the left knee, finding into low lunge, untucking the left toes or keeping them tucked. And inhale, lifting the arms up towards the sky, sinking the hips towards the earth and gazing forward. The shoulders are relaxed. There's spaciousness created across the front body. And then dropping the left hand to the inside of the right foot, twisting open towards the right side. So the right fingertips draw up towards the sky. Maybe you stay here today, or for a bit of an added challenge to your balance on the twist, you can tuck the left toes and lift the left knee up off the mat, coming into a high lunge twist. Gazing to the right or up towards the right fingertips if this feels comfortable in your neck. Inhale to lengthen the right fingertips up, and exhale, planting the right foot, dropping the left knee, untucking the toes, and then pressing the hips back, finding into Ardha Hanumasana, our half split. So the fingertips rest alongside the front or right leg. Right toes are active, straightening the right leg. Inhale, lengthen the spine, and exhale, spilling over the right leg. You can keep a mini bend in the right knee if you want to protect the knee joints. Thinking about drawing the belly towards the thigh rather than drawing the head towards the leg. Our egos tend to tell us that we need to be really deep into this pose, but it's more about the feeling of the pose rather than what it looks like. So maintain that integrity. Think about pushing the right hip back and the left hip forward. And then exhale, release, bending into the right knee, untucking the left toes and pressing yourself back into downward facing dog. Pedaling out your feet, feeling the sensation of the hands rooting through the earth. And then inhale, lifting the left leg up towards the sky, three-legged dog, and drawing the left leg up to the front of the mat between the hands, dropping the right knee, finding into low lunge. So the hips are squared. Inhale, lengthen the arms up towards the sky, sitting low into low lunge pose. Think about shining the chest forward, keeping the chin slightly tucked. Noticing where you're feeling the stretch in your legs, your hip, and exhale, dropping the right hand to the inside of the left foot. Left arm stays up in the sky, low lunge twist. So the chest is spiraling open towards the left side. And again, the option to stay here or tucking the back toes and lifting the right knee up off the mat, finding into high lunge twist. So twisting from the lower belly so that the chest can spiral open. Remembering to breathe here. You're doing so well. And exhale, dropping the left hand, framing the front foot. And dropping the right knee back to the mat, shifting the hips back, straightening the left leg. Left toes are flexed, squaring off the hips. Fingertips are resting alongside the front leg. Inhale to lengthen the spine and exhale, fold it forward, so hinging from the hips. Again, think about pressing that left hip socket back towards the room and the right hip comes forward, so you really find that nice square off position. And then folding, drawing the belly towards the thigh, and then the rest of the upper body can follow. But it's not about the shape of the body here, it's more about the feeling and that we're keeping our proper alignment. So inhale to lengthen and exhale, fluid like water, letting the upper body melt over the front leg. And gently releasing our Ardha Hanumanasana, bending into the left knee, walking the hands forward, and stepping the left foot back into tabletop position, tucking the back toes and pressing the hips up and back, downward facing dog, taking this moment to reset the spine, feel the sensation in the backs of the legs after these intense stretches, and then dropping the knees wide, big toes to touch, and melting the heart down into wide-legged child's pose, so you can rest your forehead on the mat if this feels comfortable. Your palms are kissing the earth up and overhead. The hips are heavy and sinking towards the heels. And then gently lifting the gaze and sliding onto the belly. The arms float behind you so the big toes are touching, clasping the fingers so the index fingers are pressing against one another and the thumbs and the other three fingers wrap around one another, pressing the pelvis and the belly into the earth. Inhale, lifting the chest and chin up off the mat. And if it's in your practice, feel free to come into the full expression of locust pose by lifting the feet up off the mat. Inhale, really finding that strength here, lifting yourself up off the mat. Feel with every inhalation how you fly a little bit higher up off the mat. Breathing in here, one more breath. And exhale, release. Good job. Resting the left cheek on the mat, shaking the hips from side to side, finding ease in the hips. Breathing in. And exhale, bringing the gaze back forward. Forearms are parallel to one another. And then bending the right leg. Right arm comes behind to hold onto the right ankle and drawing the right ankle towards the bum for a deep hamstring stretch. Inhale, propping yourself up on that left elbow and only taking it as far as feels good in your body here today. We're here for one more breath. And exhale, releasing the foot back down to the mat, coming back through center and then bending into the left knee. So the left heel draws towards the buttocks, pressing into the right forearm, and then the left arm comes behind, holding onto the left foot, drawing the ankle towards the buttocks, feeling that deep stretch. Enjoying the last few moments in half frog or Ardha Bekasana pose. And releasing the foot back to the mat, resting the belly on the earth, the right cheek comes onto the mat, arms are alongside the hips. Taking this moment to melt into the ground, perhaps shaking the hips from side to side again. Connecting to yourself and your breath. And for our next pose, we'll be coming into bow pose. So knees are about hip width distance apart, bending the knees, floating the arms behind, holding onto the ankles, and think about actively pressing the pelvis, the belly, everything into the earth, while at the same time pressing the feet into the hands and lifting belly, chest, chin up off the mat. Maybe the knees float up alongside, finding into bows as far as feels comfortable for you today. Inhale to lift the chest a little bit higher up off the mat. You can do this. And exhale, good job, releasing yourself back to the ground, unbending the knees, forming a pillow with the hands, the left hand on top this time, and shaking the hips, feeling that fluid motion again. Think again of our theme of softness overcoming hardness. So this was a challenging pose. Use the softness of your breath to bring ease back to the body. And the next pose is a very strong pose. So if you know that you have sensitive knees, definitely put some rolled up blankets or the mat rolled up underneath your knees. But we'll be finding our way into frog pose. So the knees are wider than hip width distance apart. The shins are parallel to one another. And then walking the elbows forward, coming onto the forearms if possible. Can stay here or on the flat palms without having the elbows touch the earth, and then slowly melting the body down. And it's very important here to listen to how your body is feeling. This will feel different in everyone's body. So not too much pressure on the knees. If there's any pain, definitely come out of the pose. We want to challenge ourselves, but never to the point of pain. So edge out a bit, sinking the hips down. There's also the option to grasp onto opposite elbows so that the forearms are parallel to the short edge of the mat. And then sinking into this very strong hip groin opener, Bekasana, frog pose. connecting to yourself, relax into simply being. In these very challenging poses, we tend to want to be anywhere but in this pose, but take this time to just be. Just be here, accept what is. And gently pressing yourself up onto your palms, walking the knees in towards one another, releasing the strong pose, swinging the legs over to the front of the mat, coming to a seated position, and we'll be finding a restorative version of Paschimottanasana, forward fold. So feel into the backs of the legs, the toes are pointing up, and usually we like to keep a nice straight spine, but today you can round your upper spine, releasing tension, finding flexibility, coming back to the intention of letting softness overcome the hard. So anywhere you feel hardness, letting yourself soften, melt into the pose. Inner peace can also come from not striving but simply flowing along. So in these poses, let yourself be. Inhale, lifting yourself back out of the pose, maybe bouncing the legs up and down to release tension, and then shifting yourself forward, rolling all the way down onto the back, preparing for our final stretch before Shavasana. So inhale, drawing the right knee in towards the chest. Exhale, draw the right knee over and across the body. So the left leg is straight, finding into spinal twist. The right arm comes out in a T shape, opening over to the right side. For added support, you can place your left hand on top of the right knee, gazing up towards the sky over the right fingertips, or gently closing the eyes, softening the belly, allowing the right shoulder draw towards the earth, fluid like a drop in a big river. Let yourself melt into the earth here. And gently unwind, bringing yourself back through center, hugging both knees into the chest, maybe rocking your spine from side to side, and then straightening out the right leg, drawing the left knee in towards the chest, and drawing it over and across the body. So the left arm opens up towards the left side, palm facing up. You can place your right hand on top of your right knee, gazing gently towards the sky or over the left fingertips, or letting the eyelids soften closed. Opening up the chest towards the sky, sinking both shoulders into the earth, and finding back through center, and bringing the feet mat width distance apart, knees fall in towards one another, placing one hand on the belly and one hand on the heart, connecting to your breath, the heart beating in your chest. Relax into being. Part of meditating is not doing, it's simply being comfortable with being. There's no next moment to look forward to or fear, no past moment you need to think about right now. The now is enough for being. We don't always have to be productive and useful. By appreciating our quote-unquote uselessness, we can find inner peace. And then straightening out the legs, the arms come alongside the body with the palms facing up. Resting into our final resting pose, Shavasana. Relaxing the legs, the feet, the belly. The arms are relaxed, the shoulders sinking into the earth, unclenching the jaw muscles, letting the body sink heavy and be held in the earth. Experience being free of your life situation and your personality. So often in a world where we're always striving to do something, inner peace can be found by simply flowing along, relaxing into being, and realizing that people, the world, material things don't have the capacity to make you happy. This is something that arises deep within you. And relaxing here for the next few moments, and I will call you back when it is time to awaken. Slowly deepen the breath. Notice the sounds in the room around you. Wriggling the fingers and the toes. Stretching the arms up and overhead, finding a full body stretch. Then hugging the knees into the chest, giving yourself a loving embrace. Gently rocking from side to side, feeling the connection of the spine with the earth. Noticing what's shifted energetically now at the end of practice. And rolling over one side with the eyes closed, gently pressing yourself up into a comfortable seated position. Finding a nice tall spine, resting the hands in the lap. Gathering gratitude at your heart space for making the time today to do something beneficial for your mind, body, and spirit. Inhale, sweeping the arms up and overhead, palms to touch, gathering the energy and drawing it to heart center, bowing the gaze. Namaste. Thank you so much for practicing with me today. I really appreciate each and every single one of you here. If you haven't already, hit the subscribe button. Please do that. It really helps support my channel. And I look forward to seeing you again real soon. There's new videos every Sunday, and you can also head over to my Instagram page, Tatiana Yoga, if you'd like to follow along for a bit of behind the scenes. All my love.